Patrice, you've never spoken about Manchester United really since you left the club some years ago. Contacted me last week, said you wanted to have a chat. What's on your mind?
No, I think it's always difficult for me to talk about United. That's the reason why I never talk about United, because it hurt, because I left the club for personal reason. It was a really difficult moment in my life. Even if I play for Juventus and I have one of the greatest experience. But today I want to talk because a lot of people don't understand, like I stay quiet, but of course I do like some video when I try to motivate the player. I call the player. I've been watching games we've had, but because I'm hurt of the situation of the club. I think it's really painful, and I don't want the fan and the people think like I don't care. So that's why today I just want to talk about it.
What do you think at this moment in time is the thing that you need? What do you think is the thing at this moment in time that needs fixing most at the club?
I think I will say the spirit, the passion for the club. I know I'm talking old school, but I don't want to blame the player, because I think some players are here and they don't even know why they're there. They don't have like a leadership in the dressing room to show them what he means to play for Manchester United. You remember in our time, I remember I played 9 years for Manchester, and it was like, I think something like 7 years. I never lose 2 games in the row. That was the challenge. When I meet Sir Alex Ferguson and David Gill in Monaco at the time, when they interview me, they ask me question: are you going to be ready to not losing any game? Are you going to be ready to play only on the top of the game? When you play normal game, people will say you play bad game. So you got people, you got figure over there to tell you what it represents to play for United. Robin Van Persie, you remember when he joined United, and the first things I say when I check his hand is like, welcome to a man club. And he laughed. But I remember after 1 month, he said, Patrice, I understand why you say that. Like many players, you win like so many trophies, but you're still working out, you're still coming 1 hour before training. After training, you stay in the gym. So he understand that, and he start also, and he win his first Premier League trophy. So I think the problem now is on the pitch, but also off the pitch.
What problems do you see? Start with on the pitch
Yes,
first.
on the pitch, I'll be honest with you, I love all of them. I see them a lot, when I go to watch the game. I come in the dressing room after the game, I'm encourage them, and they know how much I love them. But name me like 1 or 2 players can play for Madrid, can play for Juventus, can play for Bayern Munich. It's not few. Me, I will say Paul Pogba and David De Gea, and I've got a lot of respect for the rest of the players. So you remember on our time, I'm sorry to talk always about the past. I don't like to talk about the past, but I think in one season he was like maybe something like 15 captain. 15 players of Man United were captain. So that's why for the fan, it's really difficult, because I want to tell them to forget the past, because if they keep thinking about the past, they're going to be hurt every single day. I think we have to move on, but to move on to the right direction. To both the player who want to play for United for the badge, not for the money. And that's my feeling right now. Some player, they come to United, the only reason because of the money. I'm not afraid to say that.
Which players are you talking about?
I'm saying, like, I have nothing against him, but Sanchez. When I saw the deal of Sanchez, that's when I say the Man United history just go down. Because he had Manchester City. They were offering, of course, less money, but he was going to play a better football than Man United. I'm sorry about that, because City playing a better football. The manager, Guardiola, so he will improve. So I want to know which reason, for real, he go to Manchester United, Don't tell me he go because he loved Manchester United when he was kid, or it's 2 reasons. Maybe the money, and also because maybe he want to be the number 1. He go to Manchester, he say he's not any big player, he will take the number 7 and be the star. So that's why it's not like I'm protecting Paul. But when people, like yesterday, the incident happened with the fan, they're killing Paul. He's the best scorer, best assist. I know you can maybe question sometimes his leadership and everything. Maybe the last few games you want Paul to score the winning goal. So that's why maybe people criticize Paul right now. but he's been the best player of the season. But just because it's Paul Pogba, he's doing his haircut, his dance, his Instagram and everything, people will just criticize him, but they forget the player it is. And if you ask me two players, I say David De Gea and Paul Pogba can play in the big team in Europe.
So if you were at Manchester United now, would you build the new Manchester United team around Paul Pogba? Or do you think he will leave?
I think he will leave. You know, I
Why?
don't.
Why will he leave?
Because I think you need to feel the love when you play somewhere. You know, but we talked before the interview. You need to be committed. And maybe if Paul, like you say, okay, I stay another year and I leave, or I stay another 2 or 3 years, maybe the fan will love him. You know, I've been committed when I play for United. You've been committed, like you say. Cristiano Ronaldo also, for many years, he said, okay, I stay an extra year. And, you know, people love you, you know, the fan. I think the United fan are the best fan in the world. So that's why when I went to the game and I see and I hear fan shouting, swearing on player, I was in shock. Because I remember in our time, you can play one of the worst games in your life. They will even clap you. I remember when we lost 4-1 at home against Liverpool. 4-1 at home against Liverpool. They were singing United, United. So that's the United fan, I know. So I think they just have enough. It's enough. I think they want to win the league. They want to win more trophy. But even when they won trophy with Mourinho, the fans weren't happy. Why? Because they want it depends on the football, the way Man United play, you know. The United fan know about football. They want us to play forward. We won the league, I don't remember if it was in 2013 or 11, 13 points in front of City. And I remember some people say this is the worst start 11 of Manchester United. So the player, actually, they have to understand the standard of United, you know. Maybe they will cry if some people kill them because they lost 1 or 2 games. But us, we won the league. And the people were saying we were the worst starting 11 of United. But they have people to tell them that? That's my question.
I think you mentioned the fans and the commitment, and obviously Paul gets the most attention because he is the star player. You look at, say, Manchester City yesterday, you've got David Silva, Sergio Aguero, Vincent Kompany, great players who have come to Manchester and they are committed. They do want to stay in the city. Do you get the feeling that Manchester United fans criticise Paul Pogba because they do feel as though he wants to leave? Is that part of the problem? There's always speculation around him leaving. There isn't speculation around David Silva, Sergio Aguero, Vincent Kompany. These are great players as well.
You make a good point. I think that's a point and an important one. But Paul never talk. His agent talk. Paul never say he want to leave. Oh, I remember in the beginning of the season he say, I will stay for United and play for United. I love this club. So it's really difficult with Paul because people sometimes they don't talk about football. But when you judge Paul about what he's doing on the pitch, you can hate him, you can love him, you can criticize him, but he's doing his job. Like if you kill Paul this season, what about the rest of the player? You know, he's our best player, but like you say, it's about commitment. I think the fan need to feel that, but I don't want to talk for Paul. I don't know if he will stay or will leave, but I know, you know, me, I always say, when you bring negativity around the club, you should leave. That's what I've done, you know, with Marseille when I have my incident with the fan. Even if he says something really bad, and I will say it in my book when he will be released, you know, I kick him.
You're a bit crazy though, aren't you? You kicked the groundsman at Chelsea once.
Yeah, but you know, I've got that fire. I've got that fire inside. This is the passion. This has made me the player I am. You know, I always say I'm not perfect. I just want to be real with everyone. And this one was really difficult because he said some racist abuse and as well threatening my family. So I lose my mind. I kick him. Okay. At the end of the game, you know, the next day, we went to the hotel. The president and the manager, Garcia, they come to me. They say, Patrice, what are we going to do now? I say, I'm leaving. Don't worry. No, you can't. You know, you are such an important player. It's just 1 year you came here. I said, because I don't want to bring all the negativity around the club.
But you know Paul very well. You played at Manchester United with Cristiano, with Edwin van der Sar, Nemanja Vidic, yourself. You know, great players who came from sort of international soil. Have you tried to advise him about how he can get closer to the Manchester United fans in terms of how you carried yourself or how others?
Gary, I advise Paul every day. FaceTime, we talk. I tell him about what he represents when you wear that tracksuit, even not the shirt, the tracksuit, what it represents for him and everything. And he was listening to me. He was listening to me a lot. You know, before Paul left the club when he was young and he went to Juventus, I spent like 2 hours in Paul's house talking to his mom, talking to his brother, to tell him, oh, Paul can be, I would say, the new Patrice Vieira of Manchester United, you know, a lot of things. But his agent decided to take him to Juventus. So for me, it was a big blow. But I said, like, Paul, you will still be my brother, and I will look after you. But after that, I joined him at Juventus. Yeah. So I started to know him even much better. But, you know, the things like, I don't want to be here to talk about Paul.
Does his agent have too much power, though, with him? It sounds to me like, you know, he said his agent took him to Juventus. His agent speaks about him leaving.
Agent have power. Agent have power to every player. Me, my agent know, like, if he tell me to go there and I don't want, I will kill him.
He's not 18 anymore, is he?
I know he's not 18, but it's not easy, guys. It's not easy. You know, agents are really easy to convince. But my agent, he can convince with anything. You know, when we won the Champions League in 2008, I was in the end of my contract. I remember Madrid came. So it was a big opportunity, more money than Madrid, than Manchester United. And I was thinking about leaving. I speak with the manager and everything. So he said, no, we're going to renew your contract. And I remember at the time, he said, okay, we give you the same money than Gary Neville. And I was like,
no way!
I promise you guys. What is it for me? And I was like, boss, I have all respect for guys, you know, he's our captain. But I am Patrice Evra. And he was like, wow. He said, like, come on. I say, boss, that's it. You need to make an effort. You need to make an effort. At the end, I remember it was before a City game. They called me and I signed my new deal. But my agent was really honest with me. He said, Patrice, I think it's a good opportunity. It's a new challenge and everything. But your DNA is Man United. I think you have to stay for life to play for this club. That was the advice of my agent. He said, you're going to make us rich. We're going to get like a big commission. But you have to decide. That's why I was lucky enough to have a good agent, you know. But no, I think not every player are that lucky.
No.
And I have a good relation with Nino. It's not like, what I like with him is really straight, really honest. It's like, okay, even if, I don't know, Paris Saint-Germain, Manchester, I give you an example. Manchester United or Paris Saint-Germain want Paul. Raiola will say, I will go where Paul will get more money. But he's straight. He's not like hiding. He will say it in front of the player.
But can you now understand why Manchester United fans now see that, they feel it, they smell it, and they then negativity spreads to the player because Paul's not controlling his agent, who is just going to go and try and get him more money?
I know, but it's difficult. Like, I will say, like, what I will say to the fan, like, no matter what, support your player.
Well, they do though, don't they?
Yeah, they do. But what happened yesterday?
Yeah.
I don't think they do, guys. This is not United fan. This is maybe, I would say, Liverpool fan or Arsenal, but this is not United fan. I never see like United fan talking to a player like that.
I want to take you back. You mentioned Alexis Sanchez and you said the club changed when they paid him that money. That's a decision that was made in the boardroom.
Yeah.
The changes need to be made there.
You want me to kill people, yeah?
No,
I've been honest with you guys.
No, because you're talking about Alexis Sanchez's decision. That comes from the top.
Yeah, but that's why I want to know. That's why I want to know. You know, the problem is like I didn't talk deeply with people from the board or Ed or the Glazer to know who is picking the player of United. Is just the board or the manager? That's my real question. That's my real question. Mourinho want Sanchez badly, or he didn't want it and he's just like Ed, or you know, that's my question. So that's why it's difficult to point the finger on someone because we don't know, guys. So that's why until I'm not in the club or you're not working in the club, we don't know those questions. But of course, from our side, the first person everyone gonna blame is Ed. But we don't know what the manager say to Ed, like, I want this player no matter what, give him that money. So for me, it's really difficult. I speak with Ed, I speak with the Glazer, and I say, we just have to change the way to thinking. I know business is really important. Business is really important, but United, until you don't win trophy and you don't show your passion, people will hate you. If like the fan have to feel that, but I think he came from the player you're going to buy. Like some people will say, okay, we have to get rid of all the player and buy 6, 7 player. But guys, I ask you a question right now. Which player, one player, name me one player today will have the personality, the character, not the talent, to play for Man United, to carry on this team around the world. And it's so difficult to find anymore because now you got many talent, but you don't have character. I think before even the Premier League, it was a man league, like character, like fighting. You know, we didn't kill each other, but he was tough. He was really tough. I remember William Gallas, he told me when he was playing for Chelsea, and he was in the tunnel, and he was seeing us, you know, and he was with Drogba, with Makelele, and everything. So he was feeling like strong. When he went to Arsenal, already in the tunnel, he was looking his team and Manchester, and he was already like down. Because the game was there. So when I talk like that, people will say Patrice is talking too much old school. But you remember, guys, in our time, like you can name me 5 big characters in every team, like Chelsea, in Arsenal on the time, Arsenal I already said, Liverpool. It was like 5 men in each team. Now you got talent.
Do you think Manchester United have the right football knowledge within the club to put the club back on the right path?
It will take time. It will take
Do you
time.
think they have the right people to do it as well?
I think they need like more people. They got the Man United DNA and they bleed for this club. I think they need more like ex-player, you know. Do you
not think they just need the best people rather than ex-players? I mean, because ex-players have been associated with the sporting director, technical director for the last few weeks.
Okay.
But have they got the competence, the ability, the knowledge, the experience at this time in such a difficult moment in the club's history to deliver what the club needs?
But it's difficult, guys, because I even say, even for a player to join United is like, it's like people don't let you in so easily. You need to show your passion. So you need to understand the United DNA. Like I remember Paul Scholes and even yourself, you were like free when we were going in on tour. But this was like marketing. This was like important for is the resource, some resource of the club. So I don't know if these people, you know, they understand that. And this is really important, but maybe they don't have it. So that's why when I say like to bring like ex-player, because the most important also, guys, is inside the dressing room. I think he's inside the dressing room, like to people to tell them like what he represents to play for Man United. And that's what the fan, they want to hear. And I agree with them. Like when you see games now, you don't see that passion. We can talk. I can say I am a United fan forever. I'm bleeding. But I have to show it on the pitch. You know, I have to vomit on the pitch. I have to die on the pitch. You know, when my book will be released, I sacrifice, and I'm even not ashamed to say it, my family to succeed for Man United. You know, you remember when you see that flag, it was like kids, United, and wife. That flag don't make me laugh. It doesn't make me laugh because I had to sacrifice my family to succeed for Man United. People are ready to do that. People from the board, players, managers, you know. So that's the question.
We've seen you in the boardroom, we've seen you in the director's box over the last 12 to 18 months, sat there watching the team. Do you want a role at the club? Have you been offered a role at the club? Have the club spoken to you about a role?
We talk at the beginning, but even myself, I'm not ready because I think I sacrificed my life a lot to succeed at Juventus, to succeed at Man United, to succeed all my career. So if I want a role in Manchester right now, I will have to sacrifice my life again. And I don't want to be put in the box. Because that's what I say, like, when you work or when you play for United, you need to sacrifice your life. You can't cheat. You can't cheat. And if you don't, like, be involved 100%, I won't. I just won't. Like, I know, like, people, when I saw so many people on the street, you have to come back to the club. Yeah, I will. Because I love this club so much. But no, at the moment. And I think the club, like, need maybe people like me, need people like you, need many like different people. But right now, me, I just say I'm not ready. I'm not ready for the job.
How tough a task has Ollie got to rebuild this team into a team that can win the Premier League title?
People have to support Ole. I say from day one, you know, we play with Ole. What a person. You know, people think like he's just smiling, he's a nice guy. But I speak with Ole after a few games and he was like so angry. And I understand that. But I think like Ole need like support and love. Like we can't like, I see like people now start to criticize Ole or when he was not the manager, he win games and now, but come on, we come from far. I think maybe I will feel as a loser to talk like that, but Ole bring hopes. He bring hopes before the departure of Mourinho, and that's what's really important. You know, we hope to qualify for the Champions League, but I remember when Jose was there, like people was saying no chance, even Jose saying no chance, and I've got also a lot of respect with Jose. I think even Jose, the message was about playing a good football or winning trophy, because he win the I say the Coca-Cola League, Coca-Cola Cup, the
Carabao Cup.
He won that, but
about 4 sponsors ago that. The Rumbelows trophy it was.
But he access to the Champions League. He finished second with this team. So I think we need to give him credit for that. You know, a lot of people. But that's why now I think Ole have a big job and big responsibility. But I hope the board will be behind him until even if it takes 3 years, 4, 5 years. I remember even on time on David Moyes and many players weren't happy. I've been like, I think maybe 15 times to the office of David Moyes and without him calling me. But I was just saying like, something is wrong. The player, they're not playing, they're not happy. You know, this never happened when Sir Alex Ferguson was there. But the problem is with David, and I have a good relation with him. He was like, Patrice, just do your job. Don't worry, it will be fine. But I say, no, I know something is wrong. You know, Man United is not just about the player that start the game. It's about the squad. All the squad have to be happy. You remember when Chicharito wasn't playing with Sir Alex Ferguson a lot, but sometimes he was like, okay, Chicha, you don't play for 3 games, but next game you're going to play and you're going to win the game for us. And he was coming in like Aston Villa and scored a hat-trick. We were 2-0 down, you know. So I think it's about the communication. This is really, really important. But when Ole came, I speak with many players and they were like suddenly so happy, start smiling. So this is really important. I think we got in the past, and I wasn't in the dressing room, so I don't want to judge them, but I just feel like it was too much negativity, you know. And I think positive energy is really important around the club, inside the club is really important. And I think Ole, at the moment, he bring back that, but now the fan, they don't care about the positivity and they want people to win and to fight for the shirt. So I hope Ole will communicate with his player and bring back this to.
The speculation, we've talked about Paul Pogba, so I'm not going to go back there, but the speculation around David De Gea, Romelu Lukaku, Paul Pogba, Martial, and Herrera's just left, Juan Mata. Which of these, there's such a big job to do. Which of these players would you keep? Which of these players would you let go? Because there's such big players in the dressing room. There's such big characters. They're such, the club have signed them for a lot of money. Which ones do you keep? Which ones? That's the thing when I look at the game. I wouldn't know which one to keep and which one to actually lose. And Ollie's got big calls, mate. What do you see with that?
This is a tough question. Yes, this is a tough question. I think Ole and the board need to talk with them if they're ready to be committed for the club. This is the first part. But as a player, of course, I will want to keep all of them. But I want them also to be honest. Like, if they want to leave, let them leave. Because I always say United is bigger than any player. So when you ask me this question, and I know you want me to answer, I will keep all of them. But to make sure the next player I will bring, they will. It's difficult. It's difficult, guys. Seriously, honestly, I don't know which player right now you can. I ask you a question. Can you answer, guys? Like, you asked me a question, I didn't answer, but I asked you a question. Which player you see around the world right now can play for United?
No, I mean, I have to say that at this moment in time, I'm not looking. It's not my job to look.
Yeah.
And if there were players in the Premier League, I look at, say, for instance, I look at Harry Maguire at Leicester. He's got a good personality, he's got a good character. I think he's good on the ball. I think he'll develop. I think he's somebody that I would look at. Is he the best centre half in the world? No, he's not. You think of Laporte that's gone to Manchester City. City brought him 18 months ago. Big character, good player. So players are there. It's about identifying the right players and being smart to be able to get them. And I think that's the question. Have Manchester United got the right people to be able to go and identify the players? Who I say they should sign. I don't watch every single league in Europe every single week. I watch the Premier League. But you watch the French league, you might watch the Italian league, the Spanish league. Which players are out there that are for the recruitment department of Manchester United to get? Manchester United always got players before. Manchester City and Liverpool are getting players now.
Yeah.
They're getting players now.
Yeah.
So there are players there. You just have to identify them and get them. And
so you're blaming the scout?
I'm not blaming anybody in particular. I'm just saying something's falling down along the way. Something's not happening that's right.
You mean someone have to take the responsibility also?
Well, who is responsible for Manchester United signings? The manager, the scouts, the board? Who is it? And I don't know. Every other club I know, but I don't know Manchester United.
Exactly. So I think that's one of the most important points United have to resolve, and maybe that's why they're trying to hire a director, football club. So we'll see, but it's going to be hard. Even if they got that man, it's going to be hard. Because like I say, guys, I've got the fear, and I'm really a positive man, but all the things are going. I don't want United to be like Liverpool, wait like, 7 or 10 years, like AC Milan, like team like that, like Arsenal, to get back at the top. But the problem, the future doesn't look bright. I want the future to look bright, but it doesn't look bright.
Let's finish on a positive note. You just said the future doesn't look bright. Give us a positive message that you can relay to the fans.
I will come back and sign for United tomorrow.